Hi everyone, my name is Alvarez. I'm a physical therapist assistant here at CORA Physical Therapy. Today I come to you from the back office of our Kendall facility. And today I want to talk to you about squatting. Squatting is one of those movement patterns that is underutilized and misunderstood. It's misconstrued as well. And a lot of people just tend to avoid it, tend to do it differently, tend to just kind of just not understand the real concept of a squat. Squatting is one of those most fundamental movement patterns that we could ever do. It's something that is instilled into our brain from the time that we are toddlers. From the moment we start to get up from the ground from crawling, and in fact, if you ever think about it, as a child goes from the crawling position, they kind of sit back onto their heels and then get up. So in essence, they're squatting and then pushing themselves up. And if you look at the mechanics of it, they do it pristine without anybody ever telling them exactly what to do, how to do, or when to do. This is something that is instilled into us, and yet throughout time, because of either mechanical dysfunctions or muscular imbalances, we lose that ability. In some cases, we tend to lose it because we understand it to be differently. So there's a lot of different forms of squatting out there. And what I'm going to show you today is how to squat from the ground up. Basically what I mean is I'm going to show you a bunch of different levels of squatting. Now, why is this important? Well, again, squatting is a fundamental movement. It's something that we should be doing pretty much like for anything. You have foot pain, you have knee pain, you have ankle pain, you have hip pain, you have back pain, you have neck pain, you have shoulder pain. Squats are the answer. When in doubt, squat. Squats do everything to the body. You name it, it does it. There are muscles that connect all the way from the base of your skull down to your lower back, which then connect to other parts of your body down all the way even down to your foot. So in essence, when you're doing a squat, you're working every part of your body. It's one of those exercises that just does everything. So again, you have neck pain, do a squat. You have shoulder pain, do a squat. You have back pain, absolutely do a squat. And a lot of this is due to, because again, those muscles that are connected from your neck all the way down are just not firing properly. They're not working correctly. Now, the reason behind that could be anything. It could be from a chronic injury, it could be from a trauma, it could be from a surgery, or it could be from a learned behavior. And we'll go over that today. First things first, what I want to show you is, it doesn't matter what age you're in, what health you're in, none of this matters. Everybody should be able to do any kind of form of squat. And we're going to go over that right now. The very first and most fundamental way of performing a squat is getting up and down from a chair. If you think about it, we all have to do this. We all sit down, right? Nobody lives 24 hours a day standing up, although some of us probably feel like we do, right? But either way, you're in a chair, you're in bed, you're somewhere that you're sitting, you have to get up and then you have to sit back down. So I'm going to show you how to do that. Now, for the sake of this video, I have a few pieces of equipment here today. That these are more therapeutic equipment, but these can be used differently. You can use other things in place of these. You can use pretty much anything, and I'll show you what I mean. Now, I'm in the back office today, away from the gym, away from my patients, so that's why I'm not wearing a mask, I'm not wearing gloves, so that I can talk to you better. But I want you to know that all the equipment that we use out there in the gym, as well as what I'm about to use, has all been sanitized, has all been cleaned, and they will be cleaned again before they return out there. So first things first, I have a chair right here. As you can see, there's my cleaning equipment. I have it right there. It's been used, and I just wanted to show you guys about that. We take this pandemic very seriously here at CORA. We have taken extra precautions to make sure that not only we're safe, but our patients are safe. We want to make sure that everyone feels comfortable when coming to CORA. First things first, here's the chair. Just going to sit down. Okay. Now, there are different levels of height of a chair. Granted, the higher it is, the easier it will be. For those of you who are taller, the lower chair is going to be a lot more difficult. We're going to go over the progression of how to get up and down from a lower chair and a higher chair. Either way, the mechanics are the same. Now in this case, I picked out an executive computer chair where I can maneuver around, I can turn myself around and whatnot so you can see me better, okay? You have handles here. When you don't have handles, I'll show you what to do. So for right now, we're gonna use these handles right there. Very simply, we're gonna get up. Now, if you notice, what I did was I bent over. This is very important, and you're gonna see that why later. My feet are underneath me. Notice how my feet are not together. My feet are not super spread apart. My feet are just underneath my knees. My knees are separated, my feet underneath them. From there, my hands are at the armrest. I'm gonna place my nose over my toes. Otherwise, I'm gonna be doing this. And all that I'm doing there is using my arms to get up, which later on is gonna affect me because number one, my arms are not as strong as my legs. And number two, I'm putting a lot of strain on my back. That in essence will hurt me later. So again, my hands on the armrest. I'm gonna bend over so that my nose are going over my toes. And I'm gonna push myself forward towards you guys in order to get up. Same thing going down. I'm gonna bend over, get my nose over my toes. I'm gonna reach for those handrails and then sit back down. Let's do it again. Boom, boom. I can't tell you how often I show that to patients and they're like, oh wow, I've never done it like that. This is so much easier. This is so much better. I have no pain. This is the way to do it. The reason why this is the way to do it is because by bending over, you're utilizing not just your legs, but you're using your butt muscles. Your butt muscles are super strong, and that's what stabilizes us when we're standing and when we're bent over. And a lot of times, because we're sitting down, these butt muscles tend to go to sleep. Imagine yourself waking up in the morning and you're a little groggy, right? You're stumbling into the bathroom, wash your face, you brush your teeth, all that good stuff, and then you wake up. Notice how much time it took for that to happen. Well, imagine sitting down for 8 hours and then having your butt wake up. It's gonna take a while for it to wake up. So, but either way, we gotta move. And so we're going to move, and our body is such an amazing piece of equipment that what it does is that it figures it out. So while the butt is sleeping or groggy, your legs will start to do the work for it, or your back muscles, or your upper back, or even your neck. Something will compensate for it. Well, doing this, you are now what's called loading your glutes. Your glutes is your butt muscles. You're loading the glutes, and in essence, waking them up. So again, hands on the armrests, nose over toes, bend over, push up. Same thing coming down. Now, for those chairs that don't have armrests, you do have a place to sit. So what you do is you put your hands on the place where you sit, and you do the same thing. Some people are comfortable putting their hands on their thighs. I personally don't like doing that because when you're pressing down, what you're doing is you're lifting up with your back and your shoulders. So what I like to do is put my hands on the seat, bend over, and again push forward, which is super important, and then come up. I'm going to show you what this looks like sideways. Armrests, bend over, push forward. Armrests, bend over, sit down. Seat, bend over, push up, bend over, seat, sit down. Just like that. Seems simple, right? Seems easy, right? I wouldn't say it's easy, but it is definitely simple. But if you haven't been doing this for a long time, what's going to happen is you forget how to do this and you start creating all these habitual patterns. Other habits have been formed, and therefore it's going to be harder to break. So then you have to kind of relearn how to do this. So for those chairs that are really low, or for those people who are very tall or long-legged, what you want to do is you want to lift up that seat. Now, some of these seats are fixed. There's no lifting them. So what you do is you put a pillow there, or 2 or 3, whatever it takes for you to be able to get up. And then as a way to progress yourself, in order to get yourself stronger so that you can sit in a normal chair, is as 2 or 3 pillows gets easy for you to get up and down from, you start removing one, and then you got lower and lower and lower, eventually until you're in a normal chair. That's the progression of getting up from a chair, which in essence is a squat, and you're gonna see why now. So, I'm done with the chair. Now I'm gonna use my exercise ball. Now, I know a lot of you are saying, well, I don't have an exercise ball. What do I do? That's okay. We have a website called Therapy Essentials where we sell these. And by all means, you can go ahead and go into our website and look it up. They're at competitive prices, and they do really well. I highly recommend this. This is a great investment for anybody, for anything. You have neck pain, this is good to use. You have back pain, this is good to use. You have toe pain, this is good to use. Doesn't matter. This is a great investment for anybody who wants to get better, stronger, faster. Right here. All right, so with that ball is going to be up against the wall right here. And I'm going to place it on the small of my back. My feet are going to be about shoulder width apart. Or if you're more comfortable with it being wider, like I am, that's okay. But you definitely don't want to be narrow. For the purpose of this, narrow strengthens your inner thighs. Well, for most of us, unless you tend to walk like this, your inner thighs are already fairly strong. So there's no need to strengthen them anymore. If anything, we need to strengthen these guys. And we'll go over the why later. So, feet apart, ball on the small of my back. Now I'm going to sit down. What I mean by that is I'm going to bend over, get my nose over my toes, and I'm going to throw my hips back and make it roll under the ball. My upper back is still on the ball, and my butt is going under the ball, kind of curving under, basically creating an arch on my spine. For those patients who have lost that natural curve of their lower spine, this is awesome. This will help kind of reintroduce that curve. On the side view, right there, right there. Notice how my hips go under the ball, but my back stays on it. A little low. Right there. Okay, so what am I doing by bending over? I'm loading the hips. So when going from getting up from a chair, the next progression I would go with is the ball. From the ball, I would then do it without the ball. So again, here I am sideways, my feet are apart. Another more important thing I forgot to mention before is your feet should always be pointing forward. A lot of us tend to kind of have that duck stance where your feet are sticking out. Well, that's going to hurt you later down the line. You're putting a lot of pressure on the inside part of your knee, as well as the forward or front part of the knee. So you want your feet to be pointing forward. This is going to be hard for some of us. That's okay. We'll work through it. Feet pointing forward, knees shoulder width apart. From there, I'm going to sit down. Notice how my hips come back, my chest comes forward, my nose is over my toes. If you're not sure of your area, your presence where you are, very simply just look down. If you can see your feet, you're doing it right. If you are out here, like most people do, I can't see my feet now. So that pattern that I just did right there, that's the more common mistake that a lot of people do. They tend to, because we're taught, even as we're kids, is stick that chest up. So we tend to do this and come down this way. Notice how my hips aren't going back. I don't have knee problems, and I feel that in my knees right now. So again, we need to load the glutes. Stick the hip back. Notice how I have a natural curve of my spine. It doesn't increase and it doesn't flatten. From there, and this is where it gets fun, you have an upper body problem, like a shoulder or a neck or even a thoracic upper back problem. Get yourself a stick. I'm using a cane in this instance, but you can use a broomstick or a mopping stick, whatever, or a stick from outside. You're gonna grab it apart from your shoulders. Get into that squat position, feet pointing forward, knees shoulder width apart, if not wider. And from there, while holding the arms up, same thing. Same thing. Now, what you're trying to do here is not do this. Okay? What you're looking for is that your torso is parallel to your shin. That means that all of your weight is evenly distributed between your hip muscles, your knee muscles, your ankle muscles, and your back muscles. That's what you want. So again, here, there. Front view. And just like that. From there, if you're a more higher end athlete or someone who's way more active and a bit stronger, you can always work into a single leg squat, or what they call a pistol squat, which is where you stick your foot out and you squat back. That's a pretty difficult and more advanced form of exercising. That is more for progression of strength for a higher end type of athlete or whatnot. So we have the chair, we have the ball, we have free squats, and then we have a stick. So those are 4 ways to progress your squats. From there, you go to town. You do whatever else you want. You can combine the squats with other things. So for instance, I'm going to use a stick again. I'm going to start here, get into my squat. I'm going to come down, come up, push up. Come down, push up. So now I'm combining 2 exercises in one. Or, if I want to work on balance, squat, stand up on one leg. Squat, stand up on the other leg. Squat, squat. Okay, just like that. You can even do the other variation of squats called lunges. You can go into side lunge type squat. Okay? You can go into a back lunge type squat, which is my hips back. Right? Everything is with the hips back. Okay? All those are different forms of squatting. And again, you can combine things with it. You can do, again, with the stick. This time, let's say I want to work on my biceps. Squat, here, come up. Notice how my hand placement is different. I'm not over this time, I'm under. Okay? You can do any number of things. You really can. What's limiting you here is your mind. Do whatever. It's okay. As long as the squat is being done properly. Hips back, nose over toes, chest up. Those are the 3 components of a squat. Hips back, nose over toes, chest up. I thank you guys for today. I really appreciate it. I think it was a pleasure for me, more so than anything, to be able to come and talk to you guys about this. I'm very passionate about squatting. I think it's one of those essential movements that we just forget to do and how to do it. But I really appreciate your time. I want to say I hope to see you here, but ultimately a lot of times when you're here, it's because you're injured, and I don't want to see that. But if you do have any questions, any comments, any concerns, please feel free to reach out to one of our facilities. We'll answer and we'll help you out in any which way possible. Thank you guys. See you.